What is up, everybody? Welcome, Tooth and Tail Championship 2020. I am Delthius. How's it going, everybody? I hope you're all staying safe and healthy, practicing that social distance and all that fun stuff. What have you guys been getting into? I've been playing a lot of Tooth and Tail lately. It's been quite fun. We started watching the pretty popular Tiger King documentary. That show is absolutely insane. Pretty wrapped up in it at the moment. Definitely check it out if you have Netflix. Super worth it. What's up, Woody Pun? Thanks for the host, man. Always a pleasure to see y'all. I even got some Tosh games on the docket tonight. We got a lot to go through tonight, so I don't think I'm gonna yammer for too long here. But we're going over some of the best of fives from the Premier League, rounds 4 through 6. If you haven't finished up, if you're a participant and you haven't played your rounds 4 through 6, make sure to get those knocked out soon. I think they're due by like tomorrow, right? Isn't it 28th? Let me make sure so I'm not spreading false information here. Yeah, so you gotta get them done by tomorrow night, guys. So if you haven't finished them already, tonight's a good night to do it. And get those league matches knocked out so we can keep this thing moving and grooving. I've been having a lot of fun. The new patch is a lot of fun. I'm actually, now that I've been playing quite a bit this week, I'm really looking forward to these games to see what kind of tips I can pick up for my play. And yeah, so let's get into it. We've got a few matches. I guess we do a little preview here. We got Airlu versus Dino coming up first. We're just in alphabetical order here. Blue Coon versus Haru up next. Jacoby versus Weasel. And then we're going to finish it off with Mochaccino versus Tosh. So let's hop into it. Game number 1. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got Dino. And his opponent up top, Airlu. Alright, take a quick look at the map here while the game gets underway. No moles, so I think I can be a little lax on really keeping diligent here in the early game. Just gotta look for those quick warrens, which, you know, is not actually out of style. I mean, a solid quick 5 farm lizard rush can be done even if your opponent responds at higher levels. I feel like you know, lizards are so fast they can get over there pretty quickly. This map does look a bit better for Dino here, but I don't hate it for Airlu. He's got a second right there. He's got a third. We don't have any tier 3 here, which is pretty interesting. And actually, you know what? We see the 5 farm lizard from Dino. Airlu following it up with a 6 farm lizard. Actually interesting, he decided to go for a 6 farm lizard instead of squirrel to counter that, and the single mine here. 1 lizard by itself isn't going to be enough. I think you at least need 2 to hit a corner pig. I personally typically wait for 3. I'd be curious. I'd like to see him come in actually and see if 2 would work. I don't think so with your opponent having their own lizard there, so he's going to go ahead and back off. And yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we do see, even at higher levels of play, the pre-8 farm rushes happening, which I think is super awesome for the metagame. And, you know, part of it, of course, you know, high-level players know how to handle it. I'd actually even argue maybe Airlu overreacted to this by placing those mines. I mean, mines are cheap, but they are not free, so that is going to slow him down just a little bit, having those mines there. And, you know, it's something nice to mix up, and especially in like a best-of-5 series, keep your opponent on their toes, you know, not be predictable. You know, if they think, oh, he's just going to 8 farm every game, they might be a little slacking on their scouting or something. I actually think it might be better to save like that 5 farm rush maybe for like game 3 or 4 in the series, you know, once they've got comfortable for you going for that 8 farm opening. And Airlu taking a quick expansion here. Meanwhile, Dino grabbing those snakes. Did Airlu scout the tier 2 Warren? Let me do a double check here. He did indeed. And Dino has not yet scouted the gristmill from his opponent. And I would be very surprised if Airlu ends up building any farms on that just yet. It's not quite safe because his opponent hasn't taken his own mill. And this is going to be a nice attack here from Airlu. Comes in completely unfound here. Going to knock out 2 pigs. And yeah, overstays his welcome a little bit trying to get that third, but I still don't hate that for Airlu. He did lose a lot, so that opens him up to a counterattack here from Dino. But let's see how effective that'll be. I think Dino really wants to wait and get those snakes out before moving across the map. So, nice little victory there from Airlu, but did overextend a bit trying to get that third pig. Meanwhile, Airlu is going to go ahead and grab some chameleons, some tier 2 of his own. Really smart play by Airlu not to throw any farms down on this mill. Very important when your opponent's going for one base. That mine was awesome. This other mine is going to be okay as well. And this is going to shove Dino back, losing 2 lizards there. And dealing some damage to the other ones is going to force him to retreat for the time being. Let those lizards heal up, those mines. Getting nice value there to delay that push. And now Airlu feels safe enough to throw down that farm. I love it. He's got chameleons coming out of his own. And Dino still on 1 base here, and that's the big information Airlu is getting from the scout, I feel. Then again, he didn't necessarily hit the gristmill up there, but now is going to see this, and we see lots of mines out from both players. I think mines have been pretty good in this meta. How are my levels, Premium Bow? Are they okay? Let me know. Let me know. I think we should be all right. Yeah, mines are very popular, and I've actually been using mines quite a bit myself lately. All right, thank you, sir. And yeah, I think the hype is real. You know, they do some good damage. Situations like this, where you got the double mine over that little choke, is just so huge. They're a small investment. You can build them anywhere. Lots of upsides to those mineronis. And here comes Dino, moving out, trying to get some skunk gas put out. Another mine hits, but now he's got pigeons, so that's really going to help deal with that AoE damage that those mines produce, and going to give his attack here a little more longevity, but I'm a bit worried. He's sold out of the snakes, so these chameleons just rampaging through. And a nice victory there for Airlu. Dino does have his own second base up and running, but Airlu got his out first. So overall, I'd say Airlu's probably in the better spot here. He's got a little bit of the faster eco, got a better tech, even going up to 4 farms here, which I think is totally fine. I feel like he's won the last couple engagements well enough to where he doesn't have to be too scared. And Dino matching suit on the eco, I think that's a good idea. These chameleons just waiting to try to get something. That is a little bit risky though, because if Dino moved his entire army over there, Airlu might lose those chameleons. So Airlu gonna come back through. Blows up a mine for free, which is not bad. I mean, it lets Dino know that there are chameleons moving and grooving out here, but picks up that value, and a whole bunch of mines coming out here from Dino. Really trying to get the hits on those cams with those mines the way that he placed them. Moving in, though, and a lot of those mines actually get taken out before the engagement starts. A couple of them do stay, and Dino is going to defend, going to fight for his life here, trying to target down as much of the core units of his opponent as possible. And with this last snake getting those poison stacks, Dino's going to clean this up. That was huge. You know, the armies trade, but I feel like that was okay for Dino. You know, Airlu being ahead, I think Dino was kind of threatened to just die right there. You know, if Airlu took out that second base, that would have been GG. And Dino posturing for a counterattack here. Keep in mind, Airlu does have a little bit of a better economy. We don't see any owls or any other tier 3 here, so we're going to be on tier 2 for the rest of the game. These players probably going to start stacking up falcons if things get too long, or Airlu could even build up on cams as well. Interesting, too, that Dino only has lizards in his comp. I wonder if Airlu noticed that, if he'd think about maybe adding toads in next match or something like that. We're kind of slowing down for just a minute, man. I'm waiting for these 2 mines. I'm waiting for all Dino's lizards to just run through there. Oh, man, that would be rough stuff. Airlu finally getting up to 8 farms on the second base here as we approach that 7-minute mark. Both main bases about to completely be fallow. 1 mine goes off. Dino's retreating. I'm not sure if Airlu knows about this minefield. I know that he saw the mines going down on that initial engagement, but he probably assumed that they're no longer there. Both players really investing in a lot of mines here to try to stem the tide of the combat, try to force things in their favor with some good hits. And Airlu rallies his army over. I wonder if that was a mistake. That might have been a misclick because he was just trying to go home there, and now he's in this big engagement. And it looks like, again, we're going to have a pretty solid army trade. This time around, Dino is going to live with maybe a skunk. No, the skunks get cleaned up by reinforcing lizards here. And this is an absolute scrap fest. This is becoming a bloodbath, and you know, Dino's down a couple farms now. I think he didn't actually get to the 8 farms there. He lost a couple pigs in that engagement, though. That's huge. And again, this gristmill taking some damage. If that gristmill falls, that's basically GG. Dino trying to do a lizard run by, but those mines giving additional information to Araloo on top of bruising up these lizards a little bit lets him know to get in position to stop that from occurring. Yeah, Dino's going to have to sell down on some skunks. This is looking bad for him. I think Araloo is going to win this just from the eco game. Picking up another farm here really hurts as well. This gristmill is going to go down. Even if it doesn't, that's 60 food. That's really not doing much for Dino at the moment. And I think Dino played pretty well. You know, he did have defender's advantage, but he was able to trade out armies pretty pound for pound with Araloo throughout the game. But I think Araloo really showed some great game sense here, knowing when he could sneak out a pig, knowing when he could commit in and kill a pig of his opponent, getting up to that 8-farm economy, and that is going to be game 1 there. Dino should tap shortly, and match 1 going over to Araloo. Good to see everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in, as always. It is super appreciated. We're having fun, man. Don't be shy about replays either. I know I haven't got to them lately, but stockpile them up. After this event, we're going to go back to Friday Night Feasts with replay casting. I definitely need some ammo. I actually got to check the inbox. I might have a little bit of ammo in there. But I've just been scheduled up with this event lately, which has been awesome. I think it's been really good content and very educational for all of us here to watch these fantastic players go at it. So let's keep going. Match number 2. Spawning in the bottom, we've got Araloo. And his opponent up top, Dino. Alright, this time around we got some owls. I like that. Get some tier 3, get some late game transition capabilities here. Even going with the turret, which you don't see too often these days because things like moles, but I think with the mole changes, you know, the moles being less of a core unit. Moles are actually really interesting. It's hard to not really call them a core unit. It's just that they're like a crazy good aggression unit because the fact that they build, like right when you build that warren, you immediately get that first mole is so huge. Like if your plan is to just go ham on one base tier 1, you know, having moles is enormous. You can really hit timing attacks with basically double the moles you used to have, right? And if you had 3 mole warrens, you'd be coming out with 6 instead of 3, you know. So that is absolutely huge, but we don't see any moles this game. Araloo rocking that similar deck. I think Araloo's comp is really strong. I've been using something similar myself. And meanwhile, Dino not going for the cams or the squirrels, which is pretty interesting to me. Like, just the lizards, I feel like leaves you open a bit to toads, but at the same time, I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't feel like toads at the moment are super strong. So maybe these players aren't that worried about it. Dino, sign my mouse pad, bro. He is not doing this. He is not doing this versus Araloo. No way. Man, I spent the other day on the ladder, like, just trying to figure out how to get one base tier 3s to work. And I considered trying... This has got to be a bait and switch, right? Oh, my God. Okay, there it is. Yeah, like, Araloo sees it. So he can farm up really hard. He can build some tier 2. Like, the turrets are a nice addition here to ward off an attack to try to punish this. But I don't know if that's the answer. And with Dino's style, I would have liked to see this build order with squirrels over lizards, right? Like, if you're going to go for an 8-farm tier 3, Madman style, I think the squirrels would behoove you a little bit more because they're better on defense. And the idea is, okay, I just need to buy time for my owl. Now, building these turrets, though, is delaying this owl significantly. He's got to save up a bunch of money before it's ready. Araloo's going to come in for the attack, but is the defense enough? I think he'll survive this time around, and I think that's exactly what Dino wanted to happen there. Because you can defend this, especially with turrets like that. I wouldn't even hate to... It'd probably be greedy. I was going to say maybe like sell and remake the warren just to get that owl financed. I think you definitely should have waited till the owl maybe for the extra turret. But then again, maybe that would have murdered him. The owl starts now. He's got less than a minute, and that bad boy will be out. And Araloo's coming in again for another attack, but again, I just don't think this is the right response. I think you just kind of sit back and you take 3 or 4 farms maybe. You get up some falcons. That probably would have been better. Attacking in against this kind of thing is rough. And these turrets, man, really did a good job defending this. So now Dino is going to have his owl. But Araloo's got a couple farms on the way. He's got his own tier 2 out. and which I think is the right response to a fast tier 3. Even going down on the tier 1 to just 1 Warren. An owl is not the craziest tier 3 in the world to get out first. It's not like a boar, badger, or fox that's really going to give you a ton of value immediately. It might, you know, with how scrappy it is. The owl actually has been performing really well lately, in my opinion. So let's see what Dino can get done with this. Yeah, I'd really rather see him lead with the mice here. That way if you hit a mine, you're only losing the mice. Blech. Ooh, that was a big hit on those mice right there. They're going to come in and not get anything done. But the constant harassment here from the owl is what you got to worry about. Like, these mice are just going to continue to spawn and continue to deal damage. And Dino got away with it. He got away with the 8 farm tier 3 opening against Araloo. But he is a little bit behind this game. He's got to get some farms up. Going for a lot of skunks to back this up. And the snakes as well, maybe to target down the falcons. I feel like the snakes do pretty decently against falcons here. But with the cams, with the skunks from Araloo, yeah, Dino's going to have to be a little more clever to get some value out of these mice. I think attacking over here into the expansion makes a little more sense if those mice could target down a pig or two. But yeah, the mice being deflected away, no problem. And again, the owl is one of these tier 3, or late game style tier 3s. I would have liked to see this like tier 3 rush a little more with like a fox or something. But it's also difficult to take the fox because the owl does so well against it. Owl's popular, and things like mines and cams and lizards also do well against it. But imagine if this was a fox instead of an owl. You know, he could be in there poking him to death, basically. Now, Dino's got a nice little core army together. He needs to get something done, though. He's actually not gotten any value out of this owl yet. Like, not a single squirrel has fallen to these mice. I think a couple will go down there. So starting to get something done. And how is Dino going to follow this up? He's going to start building up a falcon count. He's going to get owl number 2. Man, this was really the map now that I'm looking at it to try something like this. Like the 2 turrets right there. Like, oh, that was such a great tier 3 rush. Yeah, I'm happy to see that it actually worked. You know, again, I think maybe other tier 3 units might have been better for a very, very fast unit to get out. But it's something I've been experimenting with personally since we've got that minus 10 seconds on the build time on the tier 3. It's like, does that make a big difference? And Dino actually had it capped for a while too. Like, that owl could have got out even earlier, but I think Dino was very conservative. You know, it wasn't capped for no reason, right? He had that blocked in order to get out the turrets that he needed to stay alive. And the nice thing about having turrets here is that he can start creeping up with a contain, but he's got to catch up on economy, or this might just be a repeat of last game. Araloo getting a ton of falcons out. Once you start getting up to like 6 falcons, the DPS is just great. And here comes the big attack. Is Araloo just going to bust through this with powerful tier 2 units like chameleons and falcons? Let's see it. Yeah, that eco lead that he got, and the fact that the owl just didn't get a whole lot done in the early game. Really punishing there. I think Araloo played that very smartly. I think it was incorrect to try to attack in, but I think his follow-up was exactly spot on. I think that's what you do immediately when you see a fast tier 3 is you just build some farms, you get up your tier 2. The fact that he attacked in actually made this a little more in Dino's favor, but again, Dino just wasn't able to get any strong value. Like, it's a very high risk, high reward going for a fast tier 3, and it's like he got away with it, but he didn't get anything out of it. You know, he didn't kill any pigs, he didn't snipe any warrens or kill any tier 2. So, really cool idea on paper, but not to be anti-hype train here. Just Dino really doesn't have anything to deal with these falcons. And the chameleons and skunks on the ground from Araloo should be able to deal with these mice pretty cost effectively. I think 1 chameleon did go down there. Now, 2 owls is like exponentially more scary than 1. Blech, blech. And this is smart as well Dino looking for whatever value he can get, but he's leaving his owls open. If Araloo notices this... Oh my god. Alright, Dino's just got to go for the base trade, and he might actually get it. He's got enough lizards here. Dino might actually win this game. I think he is going to win the game, especially with that pig going down. Oh my god, these lizards should be able to get that gristmill in time, so nice victory there from Dino. Regardless of the tier 3 rush not being super impactful. All right. 8 farm. I'm gonna have to try the 8 farm tier 3. It's not the classic P-boop 4 farm fox, you know. I might have to try that 8 farm tier 3. That looks fun. All right, guys. Match number 3. All right, in the bottom we've got Dino, and his opponent to the left, Araloo. Now this is kind of cool. I like that Dino is constantly switching up comps. I think that's really important. However, Araloo is one of those players that kind of reminds me of this guy, who are on the quest for the Holy Grail, right? The quest for that perfect comp. And, you know, to be honest, Araloo's comp is pretty damn good. And this guy was the same way, you know. I think that's a really cool dichotomy in Tooth and Tail. It's like, what school of thought are you in? Are you in the, you know, I'm gonna use a whole bunch of different builds and not let them know, you know, what I'm gonna throw at them? Or are you in the, I'm gonna make the perfect deck that can counter whatever you throw at me? You know, I've got answers for everything. I'm flexible. I think they're both really cool ways to approach the game. And we kind of see that clash of styles here as we approach the 3rd game in a row with Araloo using the same deck here. Dino bringing the Toads into the mix. Kind of cool. I think that might be in response to the cams. I think the Toads do a little better against chameleons nowadays than they do against lizards. But they're not, you know, they can still do fine against lizards, don't get me wrong. They're still strong against that. But I think where they really shine is against people who really rely on those chameleons to get a lot of damage done. And got macro openings here from both players. 8 farms into fast expand. Dino built a worm but then sold it and rebuilt it. And Araloo actually building that farm before he gets the confirmation on the gristmill from his opponent. He's going to be happy to see that now. Here we go again. 8 farm tier 3. Oh, there we go. That's the move. Oh, too bad. Dino thinks he's so sneaky right now, but Araloo saw everything. He knows that it was a fake. It was a bait and switch. I think that is a cool way that you can try to implement some early game tier 3 rushes, because it is one of those things where if your opponent, if you're against a strong player, and Araloo is definitely a strong player, they know how to deal with that kind of thing and respond correctly. But if you sell it and then you build a whole bunch of lizards or something, you might be able to catch your opponent off guard when they're macroing up, trying to tech up to respond to that tier 3, and all of a sudden they get hit by 15 lizards or something, you know. And here comes Araloo looking for some damage. We got some Toads here, though. Dino needs those good shots. Araloo's going to back off for the time being. And we're in a little bit of a farm race here. Both players trying to macro up. Dino thinking about getting froggy here. Gonna move in. Gonna try to get the Toad connections, and those Toads get the connections they were looking for, but that's kind of what I was talking about. Like, those were great Toad connections there, and so many of these lizards are just still alive here. Toads doing... well, that one was amazing. That one just kind of deleted the rest of the lizards. So there you go. We're just kind of stuck on tier 1. Now we see the tier 2 choices coming out for the players here. Ferrets for Dino and chameleons for Araloo. The ferret balloon style is pretty well tried and true. Pretty fun way to go about it. I think mines could work as well. I think mine ferret is... Ooh! So close. I think mine ferret is something that maybe we should think about experimenting with a little bit, because, you know, set up the mines, and then you poke with the ferrets, and they're like, oh, I'm going to chase your ferrets down and kill them, and then they run into the mines, you know? Seems good. And we're even getting into third base here. So we're kind of getting to a nice macro game situation. Dino doesn't have falcons, but he does have owls. I'm really worried about if this game gets too long for Dino. Like, once Araloo starts massing up falcons, you know, what's he really got in his deck to counter that? You know, balloons if he can stay on defense. You know, lizards are great if the falcons are unprotected. Getting some nice value with these ferrets so far. Even kills that mine with the ferrets. That's very good. There's about 80 or 100 food gone there. And starting to creep in with these balloons. Set up a little bit of a soft contain. Araloo's probably not crazy worried because he still does have access to 3 bases here. But this is a problem, for sure. Typically, a nice thing to do against this, if there's nothing else you can do, is kind of dance your lizards or something like that up front so the ferrets try to target them and are never quite successful. A pig going down, and Araloo says enough is enough and is going to run in for the engagement, but I think Dino has got what he needs here to push Araloo back. Could even sell that back balloon there. He's got 2 up front. That's probably all he needs. There you go. And this poke is going to continue. Araloo doesn't have a whole lot he can really do against this. 9 toads here on the front. They're not going to be super cost effective probably, but they're going to deal some crazy burst damage to just try to delete the ground force here from his opponent so lizards can get on the falcons. That worked out very nicely here for Dino. And this might be a Dino victory. I don't think Araloo's got another shot. I think that was kind of his last life there. Dino's going to push the issue. He can always retreat back to the safety of these balloons. Maybe stayed a little bit too long. He lost a couple skunks there, but, you know, in the meantime, while his units are reinforcing, he can just continue to poke here with the ferrets and just deal more and more damage to Araloo. And now Araloo's kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation because he can't contest this army anymore. So these ferrets are just going to poke him down into oblivion. Starting to do that lizard dance now I was talking about. If you do this right, you make this ferret harassment basically null and void, but at the same time, you really can't be doing much else as this takes all of your micros, so you can't be building anything. But if you're just kind of trying to buy time to wait for your units to get out, this is very nice. One lizard goes down there. Ooh, nicely done there. The vision that these balloons are granting is monumental to keep these ferrets just constantly pushing in. And Araloo trying to find the right engagement here. The toads come in, but a lot of the chameleons are left over this time around. This is a much better engagement for Araloo. Those toads did not just immediately delete all the lizards that time. So that wasn't bad. You know, if Araloo can keep up with his money here on his third base. And Dino's finally, now he's seeing, aha. You got another base down there, do you? Dino's got a lot of money wrapped up in these balloons, too. You know, if Araloo could find a way, maybe a base race, I don't know if that would be smart, but in theory, he could, like, try to come in around that way and just avoid the balloons. You could try to target these balloons down. It's gonna come in again. These chameleons just working so well on the front line. Nice job targeting those balloons. And finally, Araloo breaks through. These chameleons, you know, once you get 4 chameleons, they're just so strong. Araloo's gonna push the issue. This is a little bit dangerous because these chameleons are all still super low HP. He could just stealth them all and go home and... yeah, there you go. It is tempting to want to deal the killing blow there, but I think it's already done. I think Araloo's just gonna win the game from here. And he keeps all of his chameleons alive. They're going to regenerate super fast with that reptile extra regeneration rate. Yeah, even putting them in the water. Get that extra water healing. I'm always harking on players for not doing that, so thank you, Airlu. And smart move from Dino. I think the comp that he has left makes sense. You know, getting rid of the ferrets and the toads and such and just trying to get what you can. But this definitely looks like a victory here for Airlu. Dino would need an absolute miracle. I mean, these 4 chameleons alone could probably take the army of Dino here. So looks like we're probably going into the next match here shortly. One final engagement. Airlu should just pummel his way through this. And GG. Cool styles coming out of Dino here, but Airlu just with the tried and true comp rocking through so far. But let's see if Dino could win this and take us to game number 5. Let's hop into match number 4 here. In the bottom, we've got Airlu. And his opponent to left, Dino. Rocking that fox, but again, man, I think I'm a little worried for Dino's comp here. His commander actually went down to the campfire, or the cabin rather. That is rough. You know, having like ferret, fox, and balloon, like it sounds, it seems like it synergizes, and it can certainly. But I'm a little worried for Dino's comp that he doesn't have just like those really strong, solid bruiser units, you know, like the Cam or the Falcon, to back this kind of thing up. Well, we'll see. We'll see if Dino can make it work. He should know by now exactly what he's up against. Airlu going with a scouting mine there, and I think Airlu is actually the aggressor, going for the 5-farm Warren here. Going for a 5-farm double as well. Dino knows it's a 5-farm Warren, but he's not... Okay, yeah, he actually did see the double. So he's responding with his own 5-farm double. Again, only lizards here. He doesn't have squirrels, which would be preferable on defense in a situation like this. This map's kind of cool. Both players have access to a second base, third base as well, and Airlu does get the favor if the game goes too long. Here's a big attack coming in, though. Dino is pushing in on his opponent. Does he get the pig? He does. Nicely done here. Airlu gonna look for some counter damage. Every lizard's super important. Nicely done by Airlu there. Manages to snipe out that last lizard, but kind of realizes with the defender's advantage, he's not gonna have enough to make anything happen. So good job from Dino there. Taking a favorable early game engagement, even clears that mine. Airlu's got some lizards, but he's not going to have enough to really push in at the moment. And so far, we've got a hell of an early game. Both players going up to 3 Warren before 8 farms. Dino mixing in a couple toads. And on paper, lizard toad should beat straight lizard. But again, this is going to be difficult to just attack right into. Gonna go home for now. Oh, beautiful. Even gonna try to use a single unit to clear that mine. Nicely done. And we're finally getting up to some 8 farms here. I guess you can give a slight advantage in this early game to Dino, which is what he needs. You know, he definitely needs the victory here if we're going to see a game number 5. Going to try to come in, gets that mine, gets some great connections on the toads. You're going to take a little bit of a favorable trade there, but not so favorable he can just run in and get some damage done. Ooh, this is looking a little dicey for Airlu. Jumping in, gonna grab that pig. Nicely done. Airlu's gonna look for some counter damage here. But has to back off. And so far, this is looking really good for Dino. He's won most of the trades here. He's picked off a couple pigs as well. And I think this is smart to just keep the pressure on. He's not trying to be fancy and get a second base or a tier 2 or anything. He just wants to take the lead that he has right here, right now, and try to make a victory out of it. As I say that, he's going to come home and grab that tier 2. Maybe he just figures the window's closed at this point. You know, Airlu's got enough on defense. There's no reason to throw away the lead that he's got. And Airlu's going to grab those cams. And again, you know, I like the Ferrets a lot, but I don't feel like they're like first tier 2 kind of unit. I think they're the kind of unit you get on like second base. I think they really help when both players have like similar army strengths and similar base, you know, configurations. We're both kind of stuck on 2 base and can't really attack directly into each other. You know, that's when the Ferrets are nice to mix in and start poking down on your opponent, trying to get some value outside of a direct engagement. Both players, you're going to see the tier 2 from their opponents. But if Airlu can force a fight, you know, I'm kind of favoring the Squizzard Cam versus the Toad Lizard Ferret. But then again, if the Toads get some really good connections that, like, single target on the cam and then AoE on the lizards around the cams, you know, that could be really strong. You know, with Dino going up on so many Toads, I wonder if he even considered dropping down to like 1 Warren of lizards and trying to get all of his Toads to go off on your just 1 Warren worth of lizards, you know? That way you can keep your chameleons safe. Gonna try to get up to that 4 cam count here. Is Airlu? No, he's gonna go for the Skunks instead. Both players sneaking out a couple farms, but Airlu winning the greed game ever so slightly. And here comes that balloon from Dino. He's really planting his feet on the ground here. This balloon gonna give the Ferret some additional range out of the vision that it gets. And this is threatening. You know, Airlu needs to take an engagement soon. Yeah, I wouldn't even hate to see him just run his lizards into those Toads, to be honest, to keep his chameleon safe. I wonder if that's the move. That's so many lizards here from Dino, and he's going to move in and he's going to take the second base. Airlu just did not want to commit to that fight. He waited too long. The Ferrets got that second base nice and squishy, while the rest of his units came in and finished it off. And here's the big fight, and this is what I was talking about earlier, man, with the Ferrets just not pulling their weight in direct engagements compared to stuff like chameleons. And Airlu gonna slam through. He's got to get a lot of damage done. So far, it's nice. He's re-stealthing the chameleons. He's gonna keep him going, though. 5 HP, 4 HP on these cams. Really a good job microing these, trying to keep them out here, keep them dealing damage, but not have them receive damage anymore. And look at these cheeky Lizard Warrens trying to get behind the units here of his opponent. But I think that just might be it. GG. Oh, wait, he's got 1 more base, but he's got nothing else other than that. Cool game 1 here. Or, yeah, series 1, I should say. Where Airlu takes the cake. Hope everybody's having fun. Thanks for hanging out, as always, guys. I really appreciate the support. We're going to have Blue Coon versus Haru coming up next. Yeah, Airlu won, 3-1. Yep. Okay. Some close matches there, but just really showcasing the strength of the chameleon and why it's kind of risky to get the Ferret so early there. All right, let's hop into our second series with our previous champion here, Haru. Spawning on the right, we've got Haru, rocking the wolf. B-Boop's going to be happy. And up top, we've got Blue Coon. Actually, I love both these compositions, and I can't wait to see this game unfold. The board to me says that Blue Coon wants to do a timing, but that's not necessarily, you don't have to do a timing with the board. It's just really strong because a lot of players love to build a ton of tier 1, which of course the board does so well against. I like the snakes too. You know what? We've seen so far tonight, snakes do really good against the Falcons. So like, You know, obviously, what's the weakness to the boar? Well, the big thing that comes to mind is falcon, right? So you can poison those falcons down with your snakes, keep that boar nice and healthy. The skunk seems a little redundant, you know, but to me, Blue Coon he's kind of got this bruiser comp, right? He can go Squizzard in the early game. He can go, you know, Squizzard, Pigeon, Skunk for like a mid-game push, and he can round it out with a boar or snake if the game goes too long. I think Blue Coon wants to play a down and dirty aggressive match if things go his way. Meanwhile, Haru, Squizzard Toad just seems really strong. You know, don't forget the Toads deal with structures very nicely as well. And then Chameleon Falcon are some of the best scaling tier 2 units, and especially with the Wolf there. You know, when they get that movement speed and attack speed buff from the Wolf, they're just absolutely insane. So that's really cool. Haru can open up with that Squizzard Toad Chameleon and then transition into Falcon Wolf later on. 8 farm doubles from both players, and this is such a small map, I don't blame them. It would be pretty risky to take a Gristmill here. Blue Coon gets that tier 2 confirmation. Let's see how he responds to it. His own tier 2, probably going to go with those snakes. Oh, but look at this, Haru. Going to go for the Gristmill instead and build additional lizards here. Blue Coon's going to scout this immediately. See, he's trying to be bamboozled. I don't know if he necessarily has to react. Yeah. I think he can just kind of press in. You know, it'd be very dangerous, I feel like, for Haru to build farms right now. You know, he doesn't have confirmation of a second base from his opponent. And this is such a short map, right? Like, if this was a huge map with a long rush distance, I would love the way Haru's dealing with this. But he's behind in tech. You know, here comes that expansion from Blue Coon. But I feel like the expansion here is a bit of an afterthought. I think Blue's going to move out when he has his tier 2. And then, okay, if I didn't just deal crippling damage, okay, I can come back and build farms and, you know, transition to the mid-game from there. Probably going to wait for one more tier 1. Yeah, he's going to wait for that snake, and he's going to move out. Right? Let's see if Haru can hold this. He's miles behind on tech. The first chameleon's not going to be here for like 30 seconds. Blue Coon's got both his snakes. He can move out right here, right now. He's going to opt against it. He's just going to come in for the scout. I bet he wishes he did move out, though, because the tier 2 is very late for Haru. You know, so yeah, no, Blue Coon's just going to say, all right, let's play a macro game. And this is where scouting is absolutely critical for both sides. I mean, I don't hate it. You know, I can see that it's always risky to attack in. You know, something could go horribly wrong, and then from there you're just playing behind. So he's gonna say, all right, let's take this to the mid game. I think Blue Coon did have a window there with his build order though to get aggressive, and now he's gonna move in. No, he's thinking about it. He's making me get egg on my face a lot as a caster. All right, gets a good scout in, sees the 3 farms, sees the double tier 2. And now that Blue Coon didn't attack, I feel like I like this better for Haru. You know, now Haru's ahead on tier 2. Now Haru's ahead on eco. And he's just going to start stockpiling up these falcons. I wouldn't even hate to see a couple toads come down to help deal some AoE against those lizards. But both players doing a good job scouting. We're in a little bit of an arms race here. I mean, Blue Coon knows his opponent's got 3 tier 2. Actually, he doesn't. And we're going to just continue to build up. So we're kind of stuck in a solid macro game. The big things you want to keep your eye on in this kind of situation is who throws down that tier 3 Warren, who throws down that 3rd base. I might even fast forward this just slightly. As not a single unit has died this game. Both players playing very passively, which I'm quite surprised because this is such a short map. But I don't think this is going to work out well for Blue Coon. I'm getting worried. I feel like Haru's out-greeting him. I feel like Haru is probably going to put together the better army comp with the way that Falcons and Cams scale, you know? Even going ahead and getting those 8 farms on the second. Blue Coon should come in and scout that. And he's probably going to respond by filling up his second base himself. But yeah, this is interesting, actually. This kind of turned around from where Haru opened greedy and Blue Coon like had a window. And he stayed home. And now Haru's greed in the early game is paying off for him here. I'm going to grab this cabin. Actually, just going to clear the cabin. Oh, man, there's a backdoor entrance. Oh, does Blue Coon know about that? Maybe, you know, base race with the lizards might not be off the table here, right? If things start going sour. Sneak in the back way. Knock out the gristmills. This is rough. Look at all these toads. When you start getting this many toads, they're just going to delete the ground force. And here comes Haru. He's going to punish Blue Coon for being out in the open. Blue Coon trying to keep his lizards back to avoid the toad blast, but ends up just running into him anyways. When you got 12 toads like that, they absolutely slammed through everything. That was insane. And Haru's still got his falcons left over. The snakes are going to finish off another one from the grave. But look at the reinforcements already here from Haru. He might not be able to kill Blue Coon, but I figured he'd commit to that second base. Looks like he's going to go home for now. Man, Blue Coon even tried to pull his units back against those toads. The toads detonating on the snakes, taking care of them, detonating on the lizards as well. That was a phenomenal engagement there for Haru. Haru is going to see, yeah, Blue Coon's got a third base, but he doesn't have anything crazy like a tier 3 Warren. You know, this back entrance is starting to look real good if you're Blue Coon. Especially with this cabin or this campfire down here. I think that's probably Blue Coon's only option, man. If I was him, I'd probably already be selling things for lizards, maybe. It's hard to tell sometimes, though. Like, he might not realize how bad that fight went for him. It's very easy for us to know. We've got the army graph. We get to see everything. I've definitely been in positions like that. I'm like, all right, maybe I'm still in this. And it is a tournament match, so. Comebacks are very real in Tooth and Tail. Oh, I wonder if he meant to place a Boar War in there and just had his toggle on the snake instead. Haru's going to come over. Oh, actually didn't even scout all the way back, so he would have got away with it. But as Haru's out of position, that mill with 13 stacks of poison, absolutely going to go down. Haru selling that one farm, getting some value there. So that was a nice pickup, you know, 180 food. But on top of that, the tempo of just slowing down that third base, especially because Haru got his second base up and running so fast. You know, that second base is going to go dry here soon. Oh, and here's the big bad wolf from Haru. Already bought and paid for. He just needs less than a minute here, and it'll be out on the board. Man, I really feel like that was supposed to be a tier 3 or something. Why would you hide a snake warren like that? Look at all those tier 2 warrens, man. Haru's army is just getting massive here. Do a little bit of fast forwarding as both players are just kind of posturing at the moment. That is a lot of snakes. You know, Blue Coon's got the micro to really get the multi-tags off. That could be huge. Oh man, if Haru pulls his falcons over to get that wolf buff exclusively, that'd be the way. Oh, nice little attempt there from Haru. Gonna try to move those cams in and snipe that mill, but Blue Coon doesn't really care about this mill anymore. He's got all of his eggs in this basket over here. Meanwhile, third base has been reestablished here for Haru. You know, the one saving grace for Blue... Well, not even. I was gonna say maybe his economy was better for a little bit. But Haru's done a good job recovering from that snake snipe. Nice shot picking up on that farm there, but Haru is going to move in and try to punish the snakes from being out of position, trying to get these toe connections as his army is just slamming through. All these falcons in the back just wrecking everything. As he trades his front line with Blue Coon, and look at this, just 8 falcons left in the air. Getting that woof buff. GG. Game number 1 coming to Haru. Let's hop into match number 2. Spawning in the bottom left, we've got Haru mixing in the moles, and over to the right, we've got Blue Coon. Changing it up this time around, dropping those snakes for the cams, getting the mines in there. So Squirrel Toad versus Squirrel Toad this time. No Squizzard at all. Haru does have the moles. So let's see if he's gonna do anything anything crazy in the early game. He doesn't have a queued farm, so he could throw down a mole warren. No, just gonna go home. Oh, or is he? Yeah. Yeah, Blue Coon busted him. Alright, so we're just gonna go into a regular 8 farm opening here. And let's see if either player goes for a quick expo. Again, a pretty small map, all things considered, rush distance wise. Really weird gristmill arrangement. I probably, it's hard to say. You know, whoever controls this high ground in the middle here is going to have a lot of the board presence on this one. Maybe it's better for Blue Coon because he's got, if he can control, really it's going to come down to who controls this, because whoever controls this top area is going to be able to threaten the expansions of their opponent with the high ground. So if I'm Haru, I'm very worried about this high ground area right there. Reasonably timed tier 2 here from Haru. Blue Coon scouts it, gonna get his own tier 2. And where is Haru gonna decide to take that second base? Interesting mole positioning here. Maybe just gonna use those to knock out that cabin real quick. Maybe just to have them as like a ace up his sleeve. You know, maybe when Blue Coon tries to take this mill, he runs these over, takes it out. I doubt Blue Coon's gonna scout those moles. Ooh. Needs to be careful with this cabin. Yeah, actually losing some money on that one there. Maybe more tier 1 with this money. Yeah, Blue Coon playing a little bit more of the greedy game. He's probably going to get away with it too. But Blue Coon following, or Haru following suit with that Falcon as well, so. We're going to have a very aggressive early game here. Neither player going for a fast expansion. But they are going to have to eventually expand. Oh no, Haru's going to move his chameleons. Oh man, I thought Blue Coon was moving out. Blue Coon's always faking me out with his movements, man. Good scout there, just checking for anything crazy like a tier 3 Warren. And is Blue Coon actually going to move out, or is he just trying to take control of this high ground area? There you go. Now he's taking that expo. That's absolutely huge. Haru decided to take that campfire over the expo, so I wonder if that kind of signals that he's going for a 1 base all in, and he just wants that extra couple bucks from that campfire. He absolutely can't let Blue Coon set up shop up here. Oh yeah, especially, man, I would go for 4 mines. Yeah, just mine that whole area up. Beautiful. Now he might even try to start poking in with the squirrel. Is going to back up for now. I think he really wants Haru to try to commit up this hill. I don't think Haru saw those mines building either. Yeah, Haru knows he's got to move out, and that's where these moles are very useful. They build 10 seconds faster than your average tier 1. Okay, Haru must be aware of those mines as he tries to come around, and he's even going to grab some value immediately. Blue Coon trying to bait the engagement into his mines. It does end up working. There's so many units here from Haru because of those moles, man. And those moles just deal so much damage to structures, just deletes that. I think Blue Coon maybe just danced around a little bit too much on that engagement. And gosh, Haru just took a very... very good engagement for himself there. That was insane. Those moles just bring a lot of pain very quickly. Haru going up 2-0. Let's hop into game number 3 here. Okay, spawning on the bottom, we've got Haru. I really like Haru's deck. I might have to try that out. Up top to the left, we've got Blue Coon. Yeah, Falcon Cam. Some pretty solid tier 2 units at the moment, I feel like. Both players rocking that. Haru's even got those lizards in there. But man, those moles were just so effective last game. They're really good when you just want to pull the trigger, you know, and move out, because they just build so fast. You just get so many of them so quickly. And unfortunately for Blue Coon, this map does seem pretty favored for Haru here. Well, I guess it's kind of awkward for Haru to get over to these bases just a little bit. Not really, but a little bit. Well, Haru, look at this. I mean, you can't complain with that kind of spawn here. 3 bases up on the high ground, even a 4th base right there. Meanwhile, Blue Coon, you know, he's got his own high ground here. He's got a 2nd base he could take. Maybe even a 3rd. So you can't complain too much. And again, as I say all the time, it is very easy to read into the maps too much. A lot of times, you know, we see 1 to 2 base play anyways, so it doesn't really matter too much if you're on the side of the map with a whole bunch of mills if they never get taken anyways. But if you are Haru in this position, you might be inclined to want the game to go longer, right? You know, which puts you kind of in the driver's seat. Blue Coon's the one who's got to come up with a way to end the game. He's going to have to attack into your defender's advantage. If I'm Haru and I've got this kind of spawn, I'm just going to play safe. I'm going to macro up. I'm going to get out my chameleons, my falcons, start buffing them up with the wolf. And greed is the name of the game this time around. Both players going up to 11 farms before a 3rd Warren here. This is definitely the map for it. Ooh, aw. I got hyped. So let's see what Blue Coon comes up with. I mean, maybe you go for a boar timing attack, you know? This map's so big, I think Blue Coon would be fine throwing down another farm or 2 and just throwing down a boar warren. Get out the boar, get out a couple tier 2, a whole bunch of tier 1. Push in. Maybe that would punish Haru if he tries to get too greedy, but if Haru scouts that boar, he can just respond with a 6 to 8 falcons or something like that and feel pretty good. Ooh, Blue Coon got some Metal Gear Solid cams coming out on the map. Gonna try to get something done with it, maybe. And there's the tier 3 Warren from Haru, though, rather than Blue Coon. I think this is actually really good for Haru. The Wolf, the best macroing up tier 3, arguably, since it can make your pigs double up, produce twice as fast. Help your Warrens get out those tier 2 units faster. Yeah, Haru, I mean, if Blue Kun just keeps sitting around, there's the Boar Warren, which the Boar, depending on what gets buffed, you know, if a lot of the tier 1 gets buffed or something like that and then just gets roasted by the Boar, or the Chameleons get buffed and then they just die really quick because they're on the front lines or something like that, maybe it could be okay for Blue Kun. But he's going to be all in with this, I feel like. You know, I think you just got to build your army and go. You know, maybe get a few more toads. I don't even know if he needs the toads, to be honest. But here's the thing, is Haru really just doesn't have a whole lot of tier 1 for this Boar to answer. So what's the Boar going to do? It's going to run into Chameleon Falcon. And, you know, 8 Falcons are just going to shred that Boar down into bacon so quickly, especially with that wolf buff. Yeah, this is why scouting is just so big in Tooth and Tail. What do you do if you're Blue Kun here? I mean, you can still use the Boar to tank on the front. You just got to take the right engagement, you know. And keep in mind too, if Blue Kun can kind of push Haru back and get that flamethrower on Haru's buildings, you know, they will melt down very quickly. All right, here comes Big Daddy Boar. Let's see if he can get it done. Now, Blue Kun is putting his, you know, flag out on the map, to be fair. Like, if Haru doesn't deny this third, you know, maybe Blue Kun's not as isolated as it looked. But yeah, you just kind of get the flame. But look at the buffed up Falcons just coming in. However, so many Falcons here for Blue Kun as well. Oh my god, it's just chaos. It is absolute chaos here. But Haru comes out on top. These buffed up tier 2 units just doing so much damage so quickly. The wolf remains. Most of the army's traded out, but look at... Jeez, man. These Falcons buffed up so fast, so bursty. And big victory there for Haru. Keeping his wolf alive, keeping a couple of those tier 2 units alive. Blue Kun gonna re-rally up. So many toads here from Haru as well, to just try to crush down the chameleons of his opponent. Gets to deny that third, which is nice, but let's see if Blue Kun could win a battle here. He really needs this victory. The Falcons for Haru were actually backed up at the beginning of this, so they don't. All of his units didn't engage at once. This is huge for Blue Kun. He's pushing forward. Good restraint to not dive in on that wolf. I think that would have been a mistake that I probably would have made. But yeah, that's what Blue Kun needed, man. A solid victory there for him. Haru's army kind of split. You know, Blue Kun found a good opportunity to strike and took it. Blue Kun gonna try to deny the space again. Here come all the toads. And this time around, Haru's army is together. Haru's army's got that wolf buff. These chameleons with the wolf buff running so fast, dealing so much damage. Whacking that gristmill down. And a nice 3-0 victory here for Haru. Oh, Blue Kun didn't tap. Okay. Thought he was going to tap right there. He's got one more fight in him. I think the big takeaway from this has been this wolf control from Haru. Doing a good job keeping that alive throughout all these engagements. And, you know, Haru's working on that third base. Blue Kun's scrambling to try to get one last army together. Maybe if he can get these... it's rough, man. I'm not even sure exactly what he needs here. It's like both players have a very similar comp, except for Haru's got the wolf, which is buffing everything up, you know. And maybe he's going to come home, sell off some tier 2, and try one more time. But I think that last fight, it was like literally the same units from both sides, except for Haru had a wolf on top of it. And no third base here from Blue Coon means he's starving. Starving Marvin. Gonna come in. Try one more time. Let's see if he can do it. Give your energy to Blue Coon here as he rushes forward. Gonna try to target down this Gristmill. Doesn't quite get it. Now he's gonna tap out. GG. Haru taking the clean 3-0 sweep there with some really good play. Alright, I hope everybody's having fun. We got a couple more series for y'all tonight. I'm excited to watch Jacoby play. He likes to use defense. He likes to use Fox. I'm curious if he's figured out a way to make it work in this meta. Let's find out. Let's hop into match number 1 of the next series. Okay, spawning in the bottom right, we've got the Revolutionary Weasel. And up top, we've got Jacoby. Rocking the Badger. So this looks like a deck from like the olden days here from Jacoby. Like this is almost like a chip from space setup. And meanwhile, Weasel trying to get the Ferret Turret style to work. Both players are moles here, so let's keep an eye on the early game. See if anybody's trying to do anything dirty. Get it? Because moles. Never mind. Lots of money here from Weasel. Weasel, what are you doing? 4 farm. Selling everything. Let's go. Oh my god. Oh my god, he's going to do it. This is so dirty. How many moles here? 5? Okay, 3. Alright, maybe I'm bad at math. Here comes a mole rush. I think he should have waited for the 3rd mole to start this off. He's not going to be happy to see Jacoby's got his own moles, though, because if he didn't, then he would be in much more trouble. Although getting a couple farms right off the bat is nice. Yeah, I think Weasel jumped the gun a little bit on that. I think that would have been way, way better if we waited for that 3rd mole, because he would have killed that 1 pig without losing as much, and he would have just got so much more momentum as the additional moles came out. So sure, he did kill a couple pigs there, but keep in mind he went down to 4 farms to do that, so his own tech is a little bit delayed. And now we're going to go into an early game. So, you know, believe it or not, I don't give a big victory there to Weasel or anything, since he did have to delay his own economy so much to do that. And keep in mind as well, he lost several moles in the process. I think maybe 3 died? Maybe more than that? Jacoby taking that quick base. He's got some squirrels up. No cams this game. No lizards and no mines. If you showed me this replay, I would think that, just judging on the comps, this is from like, you know, late 2019. Back when moles were like really powerful core units that just kind of shoved lizards out of the meta because you couldn't really go lizards because squirrel mole would just beat them. Now we're in a greed war. I think this is smart from Weasel, you know. I don't think it was the end of the world. I think it's like slight favor to Jacoby after that early game. But if you're Weasel, you know, after the early game didn't go quite the way you wanted with that rush, this is a good way to transition, you know. If we take it to a mid-game where we're both powering up, you know, that difference is going to be more and more negligible. Yeah, Jacoby. Look at this. I love it. This is like the greediest opening you could possibly do, and Weasel even scouts it. But unfortunately for Weasel, he doesn't have his own tier 3 that he can rush. Like, Jacoby literally went like 8 farms into a second base with full 8 farms off like 2 Warrens. Get a 3rd Warren, throw down tier 3. And he didn't do that blind or anything. You know, he's been scouting. He knows what his opponent's up to. He realized, okay, you're not going to attack. You're just kind of building up to, I'm going to grab my Badger. Really great opening here from Jacoby. Let's see how Weasel can respond to this. I think what he wants to do is get up some ferrets to try to abuse perhaps this kind of high ground here with the water in between and start shelling down. But, you know, I just don't think it's going to work out. I think he really needed falcons, like, immediately. Yeah, I think you want to go up to, like, 6 falcons to try to burst down that Badger as fast as you can. You know, now Jacoby's making a core army comp that he was looking for. And he's going to have a nice push coming out soon. You know, I like the concept here, the defense and the ferret siege. But, you know, now that this Badger is here, I wouldn't be surprised if Jacoby can just slam right through this. You know, the ferrets are not going to be super strong in the direct fight. Those turrets are going to be nice, but not going to be enough to save them. Just, like, look at the difference in the army comps here. Here comes the big bad Badger. And, yeah, Jacoby just slams on through. We're going to have a very fast game number 1. Oh, the Badger is going to die, but it did its job. Jacoby can just stay in. He doesn't have to go home, especially with these pigeons here helping to keep units healthy. With that second base going down, I feel like Weasel's got to tap. There it is. Nice, clean game there from Jacoby, match number 1. Let's head to match number 2. Alright, in the bottom, we've got Revolutionary Weasel rocking double tier 3, and up top, we've got Jacoby with the same composition. Kind of interesting deck here from Weasel, going for the Owl and the Badger. Kind of a weird tier 3 pair, in my opinion. I think the Owl kind of paired with the Fox might make more sense, because it's like, I can play Fox, but then if you have Owl and I can't scale, I can get rid of the Fox and go Owl myself. Or something like Badger Wolf can be silly. But if Weasel gets that ultra late game and gets out like a Badger and a couple Owls, I mean, that's going to be insane. Meanwhile, Jacoby's deck is just pretty straightforward, pretty strong. You know, the moles are an interesting pick. We've seen the moles, how quickly moles can really help you ramp up aggression, you know. Like, you decide to attack, you throw down like 3 or 4 mole warrens, and 20 seconds later, you've got, you know, 6-8 moles on the map. Let's go. Again, another economic game. I feel like this is kind of how Jacoby wants to play it. You know, try to power up on the back of some good scouting, and then sneak out that Badger when you can, and just try to say, all right, if you're gonna match me in an eco game, that's fine. I feel confident I'm gonna put together a better composition than you. I feel like that's what Jacoby's been going for so far here tonight. Yeah, both these players just kind of opting for greed. And let's see if Jacoby even selling off a Warren there to get the farms out that much faster. I think that's a nice, smart little touch. Gonna come in and scout again, just see a few Warrens. See my opponent is also building up a whole lot. Meanwhile, Weasel is just trying to stay toe-to-toe here with Jacoby. Skunk's coming down this time around. Not going to go straight into that Badger this match. Gonna come in for the scout. Does he see the tier 2? Does not. Is nicely placed by Weasel back here in a difficult to scout position. And Weasel is gonna come in. He's got his third base up and running. Gonna see double tier 2. Gonna look for that third base. Nice, really nice scout there from Weasel. Just sees everything. Sees Jacoby doesn't have that third base yet, and then right after he dies, Jacoby says, yeah, you know what? Yes, I do. And here's that tier 3 coming up from Weasel. This time around, maybe he will be the one with the big Badger push, but the Badger from Jacoby is out at basically the same time, so the lead on Weasel's tier 3 production is going to be pretty negligible. Sorry, my phone going off there. All right. Weasel's Badger's actually blocked a little bit, which is unfortunate. Does he know about Jacoby's Badger? He does not. But he could probably assume that Jacoby's making one. And Jacoby's even going to go up pretty hard here on the tier 2. So another big macro game that's going to lead to an army clash. And the variance here is going to be in those tier 2 slots. We're going to have Skunk Falcon versus Cam Snake. And it's going to come down to that Badger control, really. And it's kind of curious, you know, do you try to dive in on your opponent's Badger, or do you try to prioritize keeping your Badger alive? And look at this. This is the big mole boost. The mole buff, man. Getting raided by moles here. They just make so fast. All out of nowhere. 12 moles on the map here for Jacoby. And here comes the push out. Both players staying a little bit defensive with their Badgers, but that looked like it went a lot better for Jacoby. Weasel's on the retreat. Retreating in Tooth and Tail is always very bad. Jacoby just slamming that engagement there. Yeah, units in Tooth and Tail just do a really good job of like shooting while they're chasing. So unless you've got a nice gap between your opponent, you know, when you start retreating, they can just chase you down. Look at Jacoby here, just memeing a little bit, going up to 4 Badger. Are we actually going to see 4 Badgers hit? I mean, I think after that engagement, if Jacoby wanted, he could probably try to end it here. But he's going to hang out. No, 5 Badgers, excuse me. All right, can Jacoby actually finance 5 Badgers? A few of them are actually cooking. So yeah, it looks like he can. Yeah, this is going to be insane. Let's see it. Giving the people what they want here. Weasel's trying to get his Badger count up. He's probably feeling pretty good. Like, all right, man, I'm going to have 3 Badgers. No, Jacoby's going to have 5. 5 Badgers. Ladies and gentlemen. Is this what you want? Is this what the people want? Alright, Jacoby, let's see it. So many moles on the front to tank the damage. This army comp is just ridiculous. Oh my god. Even just spending money on moles as he's moving out. And here come the 5 Badgers and friends. Jeez. Manelli. Good lord. Jacoby just being super aggressive, chasing in, knocking out the Badgers of his opponent. Wow, the Pigeons actually saved the Badger from dying of poison as well. Look at that. That was crazy. All right, let's see if Weasel can make something happen in game number 3. Spawning on the bottom, we've got Weasel. And up top, the same comp here, we've got Jacoby. Both players opting... Wait, we just saw this one. Did I skip a game? I might have skipped a game. I might have skipped game 2. Maybe that was game 3. Oh, darn it. Dude, I'm off. I just hit game 1 again. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I must have hit game 3 the first time around. Sorry about that. Let's go into actual game 2. Wait, game 2 and game 3 are the same? Question mark? That was game 2. Hang on. Did someone make a replay mistake here? Sorry about that, guys. Give me 1 second. Yep, it looks like game 2 and game 3 are the same file. Alright, so I'm not crazy. A little bit of a mix-up there. Is there a game 4? There should be a game 4 then. Alright. So I guess this is the actual game 3? I don't know. In the left, we've got Jacoby, and up in the top right, we've got Weasel. And it wasn't my fault, Premium Bow. Somebody sent me the same replay as game 2 and 3. Can't blame that one on old Delthius. Alright, 4 farm. Warren here from Weasel. Did Jacoby scout it? He is not. 4 farm double even. And a little bit blocked though, unfortunately. There you go. Now the first one starts. And Weasel's going to be happy to see Jacoby hasn't built anything up yet. Jacoby is now going to see the 4 farm double. And this is very aggressive. Jacoby can build moles, but moles are melee units. And they're not going to be super effective on defense. I think you want to wait. Well, actually, that 1 pig by itself, yeah, one squirrel probably would have been fine. He needs to go in. He's got 2. That'll definitely take this 1 pig out. This is not looking good for Jacoby, especially on such a short map like this. This is really the situation where 4 farm double can really get you in trouble. And so far, so good. Weasel trying to get 1 more pig. I feel like he does need to get this other pig to really make it worth it. There you go. Now you've got some damage done. And he's going to go home with the attack. But Jacoby actually sold off, so if he would have feigned that, yeah, he needs to keep going, in my opinion. Oh my gosh, Jacoby being so greedy here. Weasel needs to keep the attack going. Yeah. I think he gave Jacoby too much. This might be a Weasel victory here. Jacoby selling off those Warrens was very, very greedy. And that, I think that's just game. GG. Okay. Is there like an actual... Hang on 1 second. Okay. So let's hop into game 5 here. Which is actually game 4. Yeah, exactly, Lego Man. In the bottom, we've got Jacoby here. His opponent to the right, Weasel. Weasel basically running Jacoby's same deck, except for using toads instead of moles. And Jacoby Just getting a scout out. Everything looks normal in the early game this time around. Nothing crazy just yet. Looks like we'll have some 8-farm openings here. Map looking better for Weasel, which is what he needs. Not crazy better, though. He does have an easier 3 bases, but Jacoby can just kind of control this area, especially with this high ground right here, and actually lock in a lot of mills. So, on second thought, I might like this map better for Jacoby. Actually, I like it a lot better because it's going to be difficult for Weasel to even attack in with the way that this terrain is and with the way the high ground is. Like, he's basically got to come into this path right here, and Jacoby could defend quite nicely. And here we see a quick second base from Jacoby. Meanwhile, lots of squirrels coming out from Weasel. I think Jacoby's okay that he took that second base, but it would be risky to build any farms just yet. We haven't seen a second base from your opponent. You haven't seen any tier 2. There's the second base though, and Jacoby's gonna go for a tier 2. Skunks makes sense. Hunker down a little bit. Fantastic units against those squirrels. And Weasel's going to move in for an attack here. Going to get some pretty decent trades, considering that Jacoby did go for the tier 2. I gotta be careful not to lose the commander. Very nicely done. I was gonna say, you probably want to at least get the war in there. Yeah, I think that went well for Weasel. Stayed for like a split second too long, which allowed Jacoby to rally up and get an extra couple kills on his way out. But other than that, you know, he traded pretty nicely. He got a war in. And Jacoby, man, just the king of greed here. Gonna follow this up with a bunch of farms. As he confirmed he has confirmed a second base. And he's got the skunks, which will really help defend if his opponent tries to get too aggressive. Alright, he's probably pretty happy seeing that his opponent made some farms. Now he knows he's safe to be greedy, stay a couple farms ahead of his opponent. He's probably going to run over here and build a couple more, if I had to guess. No, he's thinking about maybe another tier 2. What's he doing? Oh, is he going to go Badger? Badger, 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 Badger. There it is. And so far, Weasel's none the wiser. But, you know, you can't really expect him to know right when it gets put down. But Weasel does need to know soon. Or he needs to kind of push out. But even if he pushed out, he wouldn't get a lot done. You know, Jacoby's got a pretty comparable army. He's got that defender's advantage. He's got squirrels, which are really nice on defense. And, you know, Weasel just did not scout the tier 3. At this point, you know, the tier 3 is going to be here in like a minute as long as Jacoby can afford it. Which, with these Falcons coming out, he's going to be blocked for a second, but not for very... Actually, this will probably time up pretty nicely, to be honest. Yeah, because as long as it starts before the second Falcon... but he put that Warren down. Yeah, that would have been, like, perfect, because now the Falcon's going to block it even longer. Oh, man, never mind. It barely starts making before that second Falcon, so that's big. Weasel did scout the Badger, but his Badger is going to be about a minute behind. So if Jacoby just moves out, you know, right when that Badger's done, it's going to be tier 3 versus no tier 3 here. Jacoby really doing a good job of just showcasing, you know, how to play this macro style, how to get the tier 3 out at a nice timing. It was 2-0 and then 2-1, Marmu. And the Badger's here. Weasel's got a lot of squirrels. He doesn't have the Falcons. The Falcon's kind of what you want to try to deal with that tier 3. But maybe with enough squirrels here, he can maybe do something. But the Skunks are really going to do a good job against all those squirrels. Jacoby's got some of the best Badger micro in the business. And yeah, just slams through this army. No contest here. And Weasel's going to tap. That is it. All right, good. At least we didn't lose a replay or something like that. Alright guys, we got one more for you tonight. We have Mochaccino against Tosh coming up next. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Game number 1. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got Big Pimpatosh, and his opponent in the top right, Mochaccino. Mochaccino loves them owls. And not sure if Tosh likes to play Badger, or if he just knows Mochaccino likes to play owls and is taking Badgers in response to that. No cams here. Mochaccino's got the mines, though. And, you know, with the Falcons, Badger doesn't just auto-win against the Owl or anything like that. You know, with some good targeting, Mochaccino can maybe buffer that Badger back with the Falcons. You know, threaten just DPSing it really quickly. Pretty small, cluttered map. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Looks like a little pocket base over here for Mochaccino. If it comes to that, both players have a forward natural. Really weird wall right here. That's kind of a weird map, to be honest. 8 farm openings into both sides. Probably into Warren expand, maybe? Maybe you're a little hesitant about expanding on a map with such a small rush distance. Maybe we'll see instead some quick tier 2s. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Yeah, 8 farm doubles here. This is a very short rush distance. So quick second bases would be a little surprising. I think it's pretty normal for both players to build up in tier 1. Kind of caught in that tier 1 chicken for a moment. You don't want to just get ran over by your opponent when you try to tech. And I think squirrels make a lot of sense on this map too, because you're not really going to be able to take advantage of the lizard's mobility. You know, there's not a lot of good flanking options or anything like that. It's not a large map where the lizard, the fast movement from the lizard would make a big difference on the re-rally. And the squirrels can do a better job, even on offense, to be honest, of like poking in, you know, poking a Warren from a safe distance, that sort of thing. Here comes the tier 2 for Mochaccino. Meanwhile, Tosh getting that second base up. Tosh does scout the tier 2, so I feel like he should feel safe enough to throw down a farm if he so pleases. I think he needs to either throw down a farm or 2 or get his own tier 2. He doesn't want to just fall behind in eco and tech, but he's going to try to move in here. I think Mochaccino's got plenty of squirrels to defend this. And now Mochaccino's going to be in a great spot to just counter push and maybe even just straight up in the game. You know, he's got skunks, which of course do very nicely against tier 1. He's got a strong amount of squirrels here. The mill's going to fall for sure, but it is going to buy some time for Tosh to get out some reinforcing units, but I'm really worried about these skunks. And Mochaccino is just going to take that victory. Go back, heal up, reinforce. Scout, see what his opponent's got. Just sees a whole lot of tier 1. Yeah, and I think he can keep the pressure up. I like the mill. You kind of fall back on, you know, if this doesn't just end the game, but with the skunks here really putting down all the gas. Tosh gonna try to drive on through with the lizards and deal with these skunks, but Mochaccino micros back. However, the squirrels from Tosh able to deal nicely with the squirrels from Mochaccino. Good defense there from Tosh. Squizzard can deal quite nicely with Squirrel Skunk. And Tosh working on some skunks of his own. Interesting third base here from Mochaccino. Maybe he just wants to give Tosh some false information. You know, build some farms and make Tosh think that he's not, that sort of thing. Or perhaps he just wants to get ready for a base trade, but I don't really think a base trade is going to happen on this map because it's kind of like a one-lane highway here in between the two bases. Yeah, Mochaccino just using this third base to send false information to Tosh. Tosh is probably going to think he's ahead in the eco when he's actually not. That's pretty smart. Both players adding on some more tier 2. Look like we're in a bit of a macro game now. Let's see who's going to make the big decisions. Who's going to just YOLO a bunch of farms, or perhaps a tier 3 unit. That's the sort of thing we're waiting to see at the moment, or if anybody decides to move out. That kind of thing. And now, oh yeah, Tosh already just did get the scout. Oh, no, he didn't. I thought I saw him, like, burrow home. Huh. Tosh gonna throw down that Badger, but it's gonna be immediately scouted by Mocha, so he's gonna wait till Mocha leaves. Oh, look at that. Always love that sort of thing. Tosh thinks, oh, great job from Mochaccino. Made him think that he left. He threw down the Badger Warren, and then he realized he didn't leave, so he sells it, thinking that he left at that point, and he didn't leave the entire time, so he saw the fake. In and out, 100%. Busted. Mochaccino's got a strong tier 2 force here, but so does Tosh. I think we're kind of even. You know, Mochaccino's got a bit of a lead. But Tosh is still in this. He's got the defender's advantage. He needs a micro well with these snakes. Here comes a fight. Tosh trying to get the tags with his snakes onto the Falcons of his opponent. But with all those, it's very... Falcons can be one of those units that are very hard to actually target, because if anything's underneath them, you can end up targeting what's underneath them instead. However, with another re-rallying snake, he's going to pick off that skunk. But Mochaccino did some good damage there. I feel like he won that trade, and then he also killed a couple Warrens in the process. This is looking good for Mochaccino. He's pulling ahead in army. He's pulling ahead in economy. I think Tosh very smartly is just trying to rally up whatever tier 1 units he can get at the moment. Does he know about the mines right here? I don't think he does. Oh, no. Loses both snakes to those mines. Feels bad, man. And Mochaccino's going to pounce in from there. And this is probably going to be a tap from Tosh. We'll be hopping into game number 2. All right, let's get it rolling. On the right, we've got Mochaccino, and on the left, we've got Big Pimpin' Tosh. Bringing out the special tactics. Double tier 3, balloon, barbed wire. Let's see it. Blue barbed wire can be pretty effective if you got the right map gen and the right units to back it up. I think we saw like QQ with this comp on like a feast, or maybe it was a tournament match. I'm not sure if he had skunk, but I know he did the boar, fox, badger, barbed wire, which is pretty crazy. I think Tosh is a bit open to like the early game, but the boar fox combo is actually kind of neat for later on. You know, the fox is gonna deal nicely with units like Falcon and can even hit stuff like the owl if it comes to that. And meanwhile, the boar can synergize with the fox together to be decent against the owl, since the boar will roast all the mice. Skunk there for the additional AoE as well. I'm curious about the skunk pick. Maybe it's just to hold on in the early game. You know, skunks are great. It's kind of like the cam almost. It's just a great unit in straight up engagements, especially if your opponent is just massing them squirrels. 8 farm double here from both sides. And the barbed wire begins. I don't know if this is exactly the best map for what he's trying to do. I think Mochaccino, if he's patient, Could walk like all the way around this way, but if the game does get long enough and Tosh splits the board, it looks like he can split this favorably gristmill-wise. Mochaccino losing out on a couple bucks there, getting caught with those mines. So Mochaccino knows Tosh is up to no good. He's throwing down early barbed wire. He's trying to expand. He's got a fox on the way. Now this is a double-edged sword the way he's positioning this fox. It's less likely Mochaccino scouts it, but if he does scout it, it would be relatively easy for Mochaccino to run some lizards back there or something and take that warren out. But so far, Mochaccino hasn't seen it. So if Tosh can get away with this fox, that'd be huge. But if Mochaccino does see it, he can just respond with an owl. And so far, the only thing crazy that Mochaccino sees is so much barbed wire here and there. This is cool. Let's see if Tosh gets away with it. Yeah, Mochaccino's star senses are tingling. Look at that. Huge investment into second base. That's what you want to do against this kind of opening. Mochaccino hasn't quite scouted it, but maybe he can just kind of infer that Tosh must be going for a fast tier 3 because he hasn't really seen farms on the second base. He's only seen a few warrens in the main, so he realizes that Tosh has a lot of money missing. And now he's finally going to confirm the fox is here. And he's going to be very happy with his decision-making so far. The mines are good against fox, if you can hit him with it. But the big thing is that the boost in economy here. You know, Mochaccino could build up a bunch of lizards to try to threaten the fox, make it more difficult to harass with. This is why I actually like lizards with fox, because you can use the lizards to, like, mine sweep a little bit. Like, there's a lot of mines out here, so Tosh is going to have to be very careful moving around with this thing. Let's see it, though. Tosh knows that mines exist on the map, but I don't think he's seen all these mines here. Bam! Bam! GG! Ouch. Oof. Dude, that's the worst feeling. That happened to me in a ladder game the other day. No, it wasn't mines, it was a cam trap, but losing the fox for 40 food like that, getting no value out of it, Tosh is in a horrible position now. It's going to be very difficult to come back. And Mochaccino knows that he's going to move in with the lizards. He's going to move in with just a massive tier 1 from having such an economic lead earlier on. And he's just going to do some damage and run away. Tosh trying to follow up, get some value on the retreat. Would love to kill that skunk. I've been treading, everyone see that. Dude, I had a game against Melvin Pro. No, I know how you feel, man. That's what's rough for Fox right now, is all the anti-Fox things are very popular. Like, mines are just good. Owls are just good. Lizards are just good. Chameleons are just good, right? It's not like, oh, I'm going to take mines to counter the Fox. No, people just have mines. So when they see you have a fox, they can just throw down mines. You know, I think the fox is a bit more relevant in metas where the mines aren't as strong and that sort of thing. But you can still make it work. Like I said, using like just a few lizards to run with the fox is a way to do it. It's rough, though. It's a rough meta for fox players. Mochaccino's setting up for the base race. I think that's pretty smart. He's probably realized Tosh is most likely desperate. 17 mines out on the map. So many owls. I mean, I think from here, not to be anticlimactic, but the fox just going down to 2 mines like that, I mean, that's basically game. Unless Mochaccino really blunders, especially the fact that Mochaccino counterattacked in and got to second base, and a skunk going down to mines as well. Super rough. But Tosh did manage to get a bore out, which is going to be nice against all the tier 1 Mochaccino has, and the owls on the way. Let's see if Tosh can get something done here. Really smart, too, for Mochaccino to take that 12 o'clock base, because Tosh is definitely desperate and just wants to try to maybe get a gristmill win here. The Boar are going to try to come in, but Mochaccino just has too much. The economy too far ahead. And, yeah, Tosh knows what's up. Taps out. Mochaccino takes game number 2. All right, let's hop into match number 3. Yeah. In the bottom, we've got Tosh, the memester. And up top, we've got Mochaccino. Mochaccino with the same core, this time just swapping the owl for that boar. Meanwhile, Tosh going for that wolf buffed Artie, man. Artie party. Yeah, this map's fine. I kind of like it better for Tosh, especially what he's trying to pull off here. You know, if he can kind of come out, get this base, you know, eco up, everything's a normal game, and then suddenly maybe use his defense to, like, buffer getting this base, and then once he's got that base, you know, he can set up shop right here. It really put the hurt on Mocha. But, oh, Mocha didn't scout that early mill. Tosh gonna try to turret rush here. Oh, Mocha still hasn't scouted it, and I don't blame him. Like, why would he? He already kind of got the lay of the land. He knows that there's a mill over there. It's very unlikely, you know, this kind of thing. Oh, but now that the farms were sold, he probably expected moles or something. He's looking around, and then now he sees the balloon, and he went for an 8-farm fast expand. Interesting. He's going to take the mill over there and start setting up some warrens over here on the side. Lizard's going to do nicely against the balloon, but this balloon will get value. It's going to kill all 3 of these pigs. And if Tosh can just defend with squirrels... Oh, man, that is sick. I wonder if you just sell the balloon now. Well, I guess you could just use it to fortify this position, but what he really needs is, like, turrets or something against the incoming Tier 1. Yeah, there you go. Ooh, really doesn't want to lose these squirrels. Needs to be careful. This is cool, Tosh. With the special tactics here. Mochaccino just gonna go for the counter aggression with these lizards. Tosh does realize this. Builds the turrets. The turrets do build very quickly, but are they gonna build quickly enough? The back one does, but the front one does not. This back turret is not gonna help defend against all these lizards. It is gonna prevent all the pigs from going down, but some very serious damage happens out of Mochaccino. Meanwhile, though, Tosh is really getting the hurt on the other side of the map. Like, at this point, do you just sell the balloon? Sells the turret instead. Ooh, needs to be careful. Doesn't want to engage these lizards. Yeah, I think the turret probably would have been better against the lizards there than the balloon. Now is Mocha actually going to do this? 1 farm for Mocha, though. That's the thing. If Tosh can hold off this position, he's got a chance, but Mocha just barely has enough units. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Dang, man. One or 2 lizards made all the difference. But Tosh is not out of this. He's got the superior economy here. Oh, man, that squirrel even dying on the way home from the cabin. These lizards going to go ahead and clean up that mill. Meanwhile, Tosh is going to figure out what else Mochaccino's got going on. Knows he's just got a couple lizards. You sell the turrets and just build a bunch of squirrels. Tosh does have the better economy, so if he can just chill out for a minute, you know, rally up to like 12 squirrels and push, he might be able to do this. Oh, is this the... Oh, I thought that was... That's the DC, right? So who wins? Did Mocha tap? Okay, yeah, so Tosh won it. I guess Mochaccino disconnected or something. Alright, so Tosh ends up winning that game. A little anticlimactic there. But that's fine. Let's go into game number 4. Mocha DC'd and... Okay. Alright, on the left, back to the tried and true deck, we've got Mochaccino. And over to the right, still memeing it up, we've got Big Pimp and Tosh. The meme machine. Boar Woof. Have I ever seen a... I must have seen a wolf-buffed boar before. What would that do as far as the flamethrower? Would the flamethrower deal double damage because it's flaming as fast, or is like the flamethrower like a kind of like a harmful area? You know what I mean? That just deals a set amount of damage. I'm not so sure. Like, obviously the board would move faster. Oh, it covers a wider area. Ah, interesting. Eight farm openings here. Tosh would probably like to do another contain with this deck, but it's fooled me once, shame on you kind of situation. I doubt Mochaccino is going to fall for that again. Are we going to see 8 farm Warrens into fast expands or doubles here? Probably double into a fast expand. Yep, that's the build both players are going for. And this is a decent map. Looks a little better for Mochaccino if things get crazy long, but other than that, should be okay. Actually, I do like it. Well, I mean, this is a rough base for Tosh, but actually, you know what? This is probably the kind of thing Tosh wants with his deck composition. You know, he takes this third, starts throwing down some turrets, starts throwing down some balloons. So he's even got this nice little high ground island right here to throw down those juicy RDs and balloons and things like that. So Tosh sees Mochaccino is just trying to macro up. Mochaccino going for that supreme late game comp. So I think in general he just kind of wants to macro up and get to that late game Skunk Falcon Owl army. And Tosh gonna bring the pain. But Mochaccino hasn't been too greedy. You know, he built a couple farms, but that's it. Other than that, he was just going straight tier 1. So he's got enough to push Tosh back. And now he's in a decent spot because he's got the eco going. And Tosh did take that second base, but he hasn't thrown any farms on it just yet. Now the tier 2 is coming up for Mochaccino. Really nice early game build here for Mocha. Tosh has got to get some farms up, or he's just going to start falling really far behind here. No, he's doubling down. He just wants to win with the big squirrel push. Let's see if it'll happen. He's only got a few squirrels on his opponent. And with that tier 2 on the way, Tosh has got to take a really good fight here. And so far, it's going pretty well for him. However, there's a lot of Warrens here for Mocha, so the reinforcement should be real. Tosh does barely end up winning that, but now he's got the skunks here. Now he's got the reinforcements. And Tosh is, Mochaccino has buffered himself into this mid-game with the better army, with the better eco. Tosh did sneak out 1 farm. So there is that. But he's got to get some more up here. There we go. These emergency turrets just saying, hey, leave me alone for a few minutes while I build up. And I'd love to see Tosh try to take this third base and get a little more aggressive with this defense, but he probably can't after getting behind earlier on. And Tosh knows how many farms his opponent just took. Yeah, he knows that it's a fully saturated second base, so he can feel pretty confident about going ahead and matching suit. I like this little two turret balloon setup. It's pretty decent. You know, Mochaccino can't really walk around this. Yeah, this is actually a good map for defense like this. I just wish Tosh was setting this up where he had 3 bases covered instead of 2, but can't really have your cake and eat it too, I suppose. Good job catching up on some of those mines. Because, like, yeah, in theory, you take the 3rd, you put the defense up here, but if that's the case, Mochaccino is more prompted to get in there. And this is really smart from Mochaccino. He sees Tosh is turtling up, and he says, fine, man, I'll just take a 3rd base fully saturated and start getting into owls. Now, this does buy Tosh some time. If he scouts out the fact that his opponent went super all in on this 3rd base here, maybe he could leapfrog up his defense. Yeah, this just looks really good for Mocha here. But Tosh is definitely not down and out. He's not going to be happy when he sees that fully saturated 3rd. He might even be a little frustrated. If I saw that, I'd probably be like, how the hell did you do that? Flames burned with twice the passion. What's up, James? Good to see you, man. Alright, this double tier 3 coming out for Tosh, but 3 owls on the way here for Mocha. Mocha's not joking. That wasn't as good. I was trying to rhyme. There's no Joka for Mocha. Haha! There we go, I did it. +1 for Delthius. Alright, dude. Let's see who wolf buffed already. Let's go. Oh man, this is just such a big investment into defense from Tosh. And this is what Mocha wants. I mean, Mocha's deck is centered around getting to the late game. You know, you start building up the Falcons, you build up the Owls, and all of a sudden, you've got one of the strongest late game comps. You know, Skunk, Owl, Falcon has really almost always been like the strongest late game comp. I mean, you can make some arguments, I guess, for things like Wolf Badger, Falcon, you know. But this is just a solid core. You get all the free units from the Owl. You got the AoE from the Skunk. You got the burst damage from the Falcons. And Mocha can start coming in and clearing this stuff up with taking very minimal losses. Jeez, 5 owls on the way. Oof. Now, to be fair, if he could just get up a critical amount of balloons, it could get to the point where he just can't engage into it, but Tosh just doesn't have the money. This buffed up boar, though, being able to run so fast actually does survive for now. But the owls here from Mocha putting out so much damage. Or, I'm sorry, the Falcons, rather. Even a 6th owl on the way here. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. So many mice coming in. The boar doing a good job roasting and toasting these things down. But it's not going to be enough. 14 Falcons on the way for Mochaccino here. Tosh taps out. And we got a GG here for Mochaccino. Guys, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, make sure to play your Championship 2020 matches if you haven't done so already. Keep sending me replays. ToothAndTailTV at gmail.com. Hope everybody had fun. I sure did. I will see y'all back on Friday night, if not sooner on the ladder. Let's go say hi to Pocketwatch. Old Andy over there streaming his new project, maker of the game. Everybody stay safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And take care.